Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Need to know if you can hear me because my guest is in the building. Can you hear? I think I have fixed the sound issue. Okay, she said good. Awesome. Thank you so much. And my mama, my guest has jumped in this back room, and oh my goodness, I am not even going to delay this thing. I am so very excited for this show. This is the 30 Days of I Owe Me challenge. We are in week 3. I don't remember the day. I think it's day 17 or something like that. I'm not even counting because it feels so good to do this work and to keep like just putting in the reps. For me, is for putting in the reps. I don't know if I'll stop after the 30th day, but I have a dynamic guest and I am going to just bring her up because, baby, we are going to have a special conversation tonight. Put your kids to bed and let's have that grown folks talk, okay?
Hello, hello. Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk Thank you for having me on. Oh, this is awesome.
Thank you for joining me, Dr. Sexy Butler. OMG. Listen, listen, listen,
Yes.
listen. Whew. Where do we start? I want to first start by thanking you for joining me,
Oh,
first and
thank
foremost.
you.
J Gun
Thank
101
you
on
for having
Instagram.
me.
Thank you. Man, listen, this is first of all, this your area of expertise is something that is extremely needed. Our people don't talk enough about what we need to talk about. And then you got people ending long-term relationships. I keep hearing so many people ending 20, 30-year marriages. I'm like, y'all are over the hump. What's the matter? Y'all didn't like each
What's
other
the
25
man?
years ago. Why are you going now? You better stick with that person who know your allergies and who knows what.
What cream you use?
I be confused. So I just don't understand. And I'm talking about not one, not two, probably 10 people that I know and talk to regularly are ending
Yes.
20 plus year marriages. And I don't
Yeah.
understand. Where did
Yes.
where did the breakdown happen? But baby, I need you because I can't do it any justice. I know I would miss something, and I don't want to do you
Hey.
a service because you got some credentials. Can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, yes. I am known as Saxy Butler, the educator. I am also what we call a sexual healthcare educator. And I provide tooltips and resources when it comes to your love life. I talk to you about things that's going to help you increase your love life, that's going to increase your libido, and all of those fun things that keep the relationship healthy and helping you cultivate a healthy and happier relationship.
Nice. And how did you get into that, first of all?
So I was working with the CDC and many years ago, and there was a number of things that was coming out to the Black and Brown community, like HIV, AIDS, syphilis, the new STIs, STDs that we really wasn't getting a lot of information on, and it disturbed me. And I was wondering, why aren't we privy to the information that other communities are getting a lot faster than our Black and Brown communities? So I decided that I was going to start a radio show called Sex Ed 102, because you know the basics, it's time to graduate. And
That's right.
basically giving you Those healthy advices, that's right. That's right. Giving you the healthy advice that's going to help you sustain a healthy relationship, even with your own sexual health. Teaching you how to speak to your doctors and how to speak to your young ones and your loved ones and just about anyone when it comes to love, sex, and relationships.
Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Now, so much to unpack. Now, if you all have been following this challenge, one thing that I keep saying is that you got to follow along because every day is meant to build on the next thing. And not necessarily the next day, but all of the things that I did for the first 2 weeks have been leading up to this moment and the moments here to come. Last night, I was talking about energy, hormones, and reproductive
Mhm.
health.
Mhm. Nice.
So, yeah, it really ended up being a lot longer than I anticipated. I was supposed to have I can't even remember she's not an endocrinologist. She might be. Whatever. That's her specialty and she was
Hmm.
unable to join
Hmm.
me. So I
Okay.
ended up talking for like an hour and a half because I'm so passionate about this area. I've had a
Right.
lot of, hey Benita, I need to download your song so I can get it. She wrote this song called I Love Me. Let me tell you something. Woo,
Ooh, yes. That's where you gotta start. You gotta start with me.
baby. The song speaks to my soul. Go make sure you all go to YouTube and stream that thing. Run those numbers up for my sister. She's a Blow on Bubbles podcast alumnus too. But the song is beautiful. The
Love it.
meaning is beautiful. This challenge is meant to elevate us in the areas of three pillars: health, wealth, and relationships. And the first relationship needs to be with ourselves. So
That's
I
right.
am how do when you're working with people and you're educating people, how do you go about instilling that sense of self-worth in someone so that they can feel confident when they're considering or approaching a an intimate interaction?
Well, the first thing I start with, I ask a ton of questions, and I ask them to be transparent and be very honest with themselves. You know, and those questions are very simple. What do you want? What do you need? And what do you desire? And
Mm.
be honest with those three questions. We start from there. And once we get down to the nitty gritty of what you need, your wants and desires tend to line up.
Interesting. Now, how do you distinguish between wants and desires?
Well, desire, if you look up the definition of what desire is pretty much the same as you want, but you really, uh, it's a part of your personality that you feel more comfortable with sharing. Okay, like your desire is to take a trip, or your desire is to read a book. You don't mind sharing those desires, and they're pretty easy to come by. Your wants are not so easy to come by. And I used to tell
Mm.
people this all the time. They're like, "Oh, I just want it." No, your wants aren't easy to come by. You have to identify your needs first in order to satisfy your wants, and then that cultivates your desire.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense now. It definitely makes sense. Now, have you ever worked with, say, a parent that has a teenage child and helping them to have those conversations?
Yes, you with teenagers, with kids, period. I suggest you start talking to your children when it comes to love, sex, and relationship at 3, 4 years old. You know, and there's
Really?
levels to it. You know, yes, there are
Mm.
levels to it because, children start exploring themselves at an early age. And
Right,
so
right.
you have to start talking to them about the exploration. You have to start talking to them about their body, what they do, what that part of the body does, what you shouldn't do with it, little things like that. And
Hmm.
as they grow to the next age group, you increase it, you go into it a little bit more detail, you give graphics, and like I said, it's just different levels to it. Then once you get into the teenage era, you really, really, really need to be directed up front. You really need to
Hmm.
look. You have to have. I usually say no chase, just straight. Straight, no chase. Just give it to them, because if you don't, they're going to learn from their peers, or they're going to
Who
learn from
also don't
totally
know what they're talking about.
that part. And we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? They are going to want to explore and experience and experiment with each other and things like that. But give them a comfortable space, a comfortable opportunity to share with you what their desires are, what they're feeling, and how they really feel about sex, love, and relationship. Those three things are different. Okay. And
Mhm.
some majority of the time, even us as adults, we get those three things confused. We think they're one, they're not.
Mhm.
And so we have to definitely cultivate the relationship and the communication properly when we're talking to our children, whatever age they are.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Now, if you, my children are grown, but I do have a teenage granddaughter and a preteen granddaughter. How
Hmm.
would how would my
Hmm.
children, how would you recommend they breach the conversation? You got a 14, 13, 14-year-old girl who's living in this world.
Hmm.
What are some tips that a parent
Okay.
can use to kind of have this conversation and to also continue to instill confidence in this area?
Have a conversation with yourself first, okay? Because
Ooh,
kids are different. They're
yeah.
way totally different from us, okay? I don't care if you were born in the 80s, 70s, or 60s. The kids today are totally different. They're a little bit more blunt, open, and curious. So you're going to have that conversation with yourself and embrace, because they're direct. They want to know. So
Mm,
if you have that conversation with yourself first and say, "Hey, how was my conversation with my parents about sex? What were the topics that I wanted to explore?" And recall that conversation. If you did not have those type of conversations, then you definitely need to start having a conversation before you talk to your children, because you need to know what you're talking about. You're guiding them. And
yes.
so
And I can admit
if you
I didn't have that conversation with my children. With my boys, the
right,
most I said, because I'm a boy mom. I do have a daughter, but my sister she deal with the girl, I deal with the boys. And the
and that's
extent of my
good.
conversation was wrap it up all the time, every time. And
Very good. Use your prophylactics. That's right.
that was
The
all it
one thing that I
said.
do, yes, you have to. And one thing that I do appreciate what you have done, you actually use a support system. You do need a support system sometimes, whether
Yeah.
it's a doctor or whether it's a member of your family. If you're uncomfortable, it's okay to take them to the doctor and say, "Hey, look, we need to start talking about sex. They have some questions that I can't answer."
Okay.
And be open. And I wrote a book, which you can find on Amazon, is how to actually talk to your teenagers about your sexual health care, and how to talk to your doctors about it. And in the book, it's like a little checklist, questions, and things like that normally come up. Okay. And then your conversation can expound. But to me, how I was able to talk to my son, I went into the kitchen, I started cooking, and it's something about the kitchen, it's something about at the kitchen table, it's something about food that makes it comfortable enough for you to explore conversations on love, sex, and relationships, right? Even bills, but stay away from the
Mm-hmm.
knives. But have that conversation over a good dinner or a snack, and allow them to open up and tell them, listen, I want to talk to you, yes, as a parent, but at this point, I'm here to listen to you and answer any of the questions, issues, or concerns that you may have when it comes to sex. Now, you're going to have to put your feelings in your pocket.
Yeah,
You're
for
going to have to
sure.
put your
Because
feelings
you'll
in your
shut them
pocket.
down. You will shut them down and they won't talk to you again. So that is probably the
Exactly.
hardest
You
part
want
that
it
we
just to be open as possible. Yes, be open as
have.
possible. Listen, listen, listen. And don't be too quick to answer. If you don't know the answer, don't, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's nasty. All that. Don't shame them. Don't blame them. And don't tame them. All you want to do is just actually listen and answer slowly. Think about everything before you speak. If you don't know the answer, say, "Look, darling, we're gonna find out about that because Mama not too versed on this kind of stuff. But let's find out. Let's talk to some other people. They might know. Let's go over to the doctor and figure this out." But yes, it's very important that you have the preliminary conversations with them.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I really appreciate that. And anybody, we do have a little bit of a an audience on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So we are live streaming on all three platforms. I think I've shouted out everybody. Rap Alive ENT. Thank you. He gave us 3 claps, or he or she. I'm sorry, I can't tell who you are, but thank you. This is a very needed conversation. Now I want to transition to
Yes.
the grown folks.
Ooh.
Whew.
Ooh. Let's
What
talk about
are
sex, baby. Talk about you and me.
That's gonna be my move all night. Okay, now what are the top things that you recommend an individual do when they're interested and think they're ready for a relationship, but they've got some sexual baggage, some maybe some things that they need to
Ooh,
heal from?
listen, the best advice I can give anybody, if you have any kind of sexual hangups, appetites, etc., identify what they are. When you spoke earlier and you talked about the young lady with the song about loving me, you'll
Mm-hmm.
have to learn yourself no matter what. And this is going to sound a little crazy, but sometimes you have to touch yourself in order to know what you like and know what you
Okay.
don't like. You don't have to share that part with anybody else, but you really have to identify who you are, what your sexual appetite is. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes you will meet an individual that is an asexual, that they're asexual. Now, what asexual means is that they're really not into sex. They're really into the conversation that stimulates their mental, and then they might have an intimate piece with you, but that's how they feel their
Ooh, my
intimacy
grandson.
is through conversation. Ooh.
My grandson just walked in. No, 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 no. Leave the light alone. Go. Hold on. You can keep talking. I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay. So if we identify what our sexual appetite is, we identify what our sexual brand is, and we'll understand how to share ourselves with other people. But we have to first find out about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Cheryl Martin said our president plans to sign an executive order to make cheating on your spouse a crime and against the law. You will do
Hmm.
jail time. So if you got a side piece, you best stop, divorce, and restore your marriage. So she asked, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so my thoughts on this: make America great again. Wow. um, when it comes to infidelity, um, there is a communication breakdown. I disagree with the government being in my relationship. I disagree with them telling me what to do with my body, with my children, with my husband, with anything when it comes to me. That's just me. Um,
Amen.
but when it comes to infidelity, you have to think what's really going on. You have to have that conversation with your spouse, your loved one. There is a form of there's a communication breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And those are hard conversations to have, especially if he's already or she's already stepped out of the relationship. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
let's be clear and let's be real. We know our mate, especially if you've been with him in a long time, when they start switching up or they start doing different routines, you need to start asking some questions. You need to say, we need to sit down and have a conversation because the perfume done changed. Or you dressing a little bit more provocative than normal. You're staying out a little bit longer. Is there something you need to tell me? And you, put them boundaries out there. Let them
Yeah.
know. I'm not
My
going to
body is gonna tell
tolerate.
you. My body is gonna tell on you, baby.
Most
This
people, most
ecosystem
people
is
do.
delicate. She don't like
Yep.
just any old thing. You better not bring another
No.
spirit up in here because she gonna tell me.
Right. But that it is a reason why your spouse or your loved one is cheating, and majority of the time it's they're not fulfilled in themselves. It's not you. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, what they're feeling, whether they're having low self-esteem or they feeling like they're not loved by you or something. It's within them. It's their
Right,
problem. But you do
right,
have to hit it in the butt before it gets any worse, and decide if you really want to stay in that relationship or not.
for sure. Reggie Foxworth
Yep.
said that's funny, considering he's a known cheater. Make it make sense. Yes,
Make it make sense.
it won't. It can't. It only makes
It'll
sense
never.
in his big orange head. So,
If you are a known cheater, you need to let people know I'm a known cheater.
and we
So
all
thank you
know.
for that.
We
Appreciate you.
all-
Now
yeah.
it's left up to the person to jump into that relationship with you, the known cheater. And you
Mhm.
set yourself up for failure if you want to, but I'm not going to get into a relationship knowing that person is a is a cheater.
Yes, absolutely. Because like what goes up is going to come down, and especially if you're the one
Always.
they cheated
Nothing
with.
stays in the dark.
Whew, if you're the one they cheated with, and you thought you were going to win a prize because
If they
now they
cheated with
with
you,
you,
they're going to cheat on.
they're
If
going
they
to cheat
cheated with
on
you, they're going
you.
to cheat on you. Yes,
It's,
one way or
it,
another. And there's so many levels of infidelity. I mean, you can get cheated on financially, mental, physically, spiritually,
all
all
of
of
that.
it. You have to identify what areas of infidelity you're dealing with.
Yes. Now, I am blessed that people trust me to talk to me, but I want to talk about later dating. There's a show called Later Daters or something like
Love
that.
it. I love it.
Um,
Yes. Later daters.
Later Daters. Now, how how do you feel like the scene is with people over 50? I'm gonna go over 50 because I'm over 50. I want to talk about the grown and grown and grown.
Hmm.
What's your take on why so many men still don't have clarity on what they want? Or
Hmm.
there are so many people who are wanting to basically lock a woman down but not be locked down.
Okay. Okay. There again, I hear wants. Men definitely need to identify their needs before they identify their wants. And majority of the time, men operate on what they want. So that's the biggest problem right there. When
Mm.
it comes to later daters at 50, over 50 years old, that's a tough scene. I'm not going to kid you. It's a tough road. Anybody over 50 that's trying to date right now, you're going to get one or two things. You're going to get the young bucks hollering at you if you're a woman. And I don't know if you want to go back into raising or starting all over with a youngin, you can. Now there are some young men out there. I'm not going to diss them. There are some young men that really have their act together. They're ready for a relationship and they're ready to grow with you. What is left to grow? Okay. Now, when it comes to men in their 50, they tend to go for the younger women. They're not looking for 50-year-old women. They're looking for the young girls. And the reason being, they they have desires, they have wants, and they know that women in their 50s are not going to do certain things that they want.
Okay, okay. Um, how how do you what is your position on dealing with a bold, brazen, I'm looking at questions, a bold and brazen side piece? How do you try to build or
A
maintain?
bold and brazen side piece.
Yes.
Why would you? Okay, so what is the reason for having a bold brazen side piece? What I want to know, let me turn that question to you. What does the side piece, what's their purpose?
So
Well, how do they serve
I've
you?
known and this was many years ago. I had, trying not to talk about somebody's business so much that they know who I'm talking about. There was a person that I know who had a relationship with this man, and he had a side piece who did not care if you stomped her out. She didn't care if you caught him. She was gonna keep it like that's. I think that's how I'm reading the question. How do you? Is that just decision time on just deciding what you want to deal with and or not?
As far as dealing with a side piece, what you want to deal with?
Dealing with the relationship with that person, you know they got a side piece because the side piece is gonna let themselves be known. That's how I'm reading the question.
You
I
know,
mean, the question was just a bold, brazen side piece. It wasn't a lot of.
a bold brazen side piece. Well, the way that I interpret that question, if you're bold and you brazen and you a side piece, then you really don't need a main piece. The side piece is going to be bold and brazen and taking all of the attention. I mean, how can you handle two? I, I I'm trying to figure out this question.
Can you elaborate on that question? Just thoughts on a side piece. So, okay,
Yeah.
but yes, there's a lot of dynamics that we are dealing with out here, and
Yeah.
um, a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people try to fill voids with physical
Mhm.
interaction.
Mhm.
Can you speak to that? How do you kind of coach or encourage a person who is looking for something, and the only way they know how to try to fill it is just to continue to put themselves out there?
Mm. Like I said from the beginning, I'm gonna stick with it. You have to take some time and learn yourself. You got something. You may have to unlearn some bad habits, which is gonna take you 30 days. Go inward and find yourself. That is the most important part. If you don't know yourself, you're going to keep making the same mistakes. You're going to keep dealing with the same type of people. You're going to attract the same type of people. But like I said, if you know yourself, if you take that time to figure out what you really need, what you really want, and what you really desire, then those issues won't come up. You'll know exactly what's designed for you.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I
It's that simple.
Yes, it's that simple. And Cheryl Martin said
Mhm.
that's what she means. Social media shows a lot of women going to the married man's house. So
Yeah,
what I will acknowledge that you go to the wrong door, you might not walk away from that door. Now
that part.
you got to understand that That's just not the thing to do. I mean, I'm old school. You don't go to nobody's house. You don't go to their job.
And majority of the side piece, I think sometimes like when I've met a couple of women that I'd rather be the side piece, send him home to his wife, and I get what I need to get out of the situation. Some side pieces are very selfish. They only want certain things for themselves. Okay,
Mhm.
but I have asked the side piece once before. I was like, okay, so at a certain age, you're gonna get tired of being a side piece, and you're gonna want to be the main.
And you're gonna be by
Now,
yourself.
what are you? You're gonna be alone. Now, what are you expecting out of a relationship, knowing you were a side piece? Now what? And
Right.
they wouldn't even know how to be a main piece because they're so embedded in being the side piece, and that's a
Yes.
selfish act. It's
It
very
is a very
selfish.
selfish act. And then I've known some of them to have audacity when they do get a relationship that's supposed to be their committed relationship, and then their man cheats and are in their
They
feelings.
lose it.
Baby,
They
karma is a
baby,
sharpshooter.
come on,
She don't
baby,
miss.
good for
Karma
the
is
goose.
a sharpshooter. Pew! She gonna get
Listen,
you every
and you're
time.
gonna get it in ten. You're gonna get it in tenfold. That's just
And
it. And
yeah,
some piece once told me, "Well, only married men approach me." Well, then pray with them. Tell them, well, let me pray for you and your wife to get back together. Because what you over here dipping for?
that part.
Tend to your yard and it'll stay green. But if you're jumping into another yard, it might not be so green over there. Grass might be brown
Right.
as excuse me, it might be brown.
Right. And because I've heard people, you know how sometimes women will talk when they're amongst women, only women. And I've heard people like, he's a good man. He take care of his kids. He do it. If he messes with you, that makes him not a good man anymore.
That
I
part.
just I'm so firm.
Yeah.
I am a strong, strong, strong believer in marriage, the nuclear
Mhm.
family, the like just honoring and respecting people's like union. That's a covenant.
Their relationship. That's right. Yeah.
You come
But
between
if
that
you know,
a lot
then you don't have any respect for yourself.
at all. At
You
all.
don't have any respect for yourself. And so how are you expecting someone to respect you?
Right. Now, do you ever partner or kind of collaborate with other practitioners like in the mental health space to help people to, take a more holistic approach to their healing journey?
Well, not more of a holistic piece, but I do partner with other marriage counselors and relationship counselors and therapists. And because there are three levels of love, sex, and relationship, it's just three levels. So I do collaborate with different levels of MDs because they bring different values to the table that relate to relationships, that relate to love, and that relate to sex. It's three different levels, but us as individuals outside of that, we equate them as one, and it's just not so. We have it all mixed up.
Can you share those three levels?
So with relationships, a relationship is just what it is. It's a relationship. It's a union. It's a level of communication of what we're going to do together. So we're developing a relationship, and it's almost like developing a contractual agreement. And I do tell married couples to sit down and write down what this relationship is going to be. Okay. You have one piece of paper, he has another piece of paper. Y'all bring it together and see what y'all can really commit to in this relationship. Okay, which is a union. It is a contract.
Mhm.
love love is tough, it's tricky. Love is unconditional. Love is not judgmental. Love is a whole different total situation, and majority of the time it's going to take time to develop love. I've had people come in and say, oh, it was love at first sight. No, that was lust. That's not love. Love is something that is definitely a growth situation. You grow into love. Okay. Now I know you have babies and you get your son, your children. That's automatic, unconditional love. That's love. But when you're meeting someone for the first time, that's lust. That's not love. Love, you have to grow with it. Now, when it comes to sex, it's totally different. Sex is an act. That's exactly what it is. It's an act. Period. I can't express it any other. I can't put any more adjectives, any more other definitions to it. It's how you express your love in this relationship, or how you identify your sexual appetite, how you exercise your sexual appetite. It's an act.
So, do you believe that a person can truly separate emotion from the physical act?
No. And it's been tried. Most men, you'll say, men will say, oh, it was just sex, it wasn't nothing.
That's a cop out when they got caught cheating. But go ahead.
9 times out of 10, somebody gonna get up out that bed with some feelings. Period.
Absolutely.
It might not
Absolutely.
be him this time. It might be you. But somebody, one of the two, if not both, y'all gonna get up out that bed with some feelings. I don't know what the feelings are gonna be, but you're gonna have some feelings.
Absolutely. It's too personal and intimate an act to not like we are not animals just going through the motion for the sake of explicitly for the sake of create procreation. Like
Exactly.
we have emotions.
Exactly. You have emotions, you have feelings, and they are attached to your phallus and your vajayjay. They are. And most people will argue with you. They'll tell you, oh no, I can sleep with such and I ain't got no feelings. They might hit that right button that time and make you go, ooh, ooh,
There
ooh,
you
wait,
go.
sugar. I'm in love.
Big time with a flashlight.
You know? Exactly. Exactly. So, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Now,
So yes.
d- uh, how do you have a regimen for maintaining good vaginal health? Because I grew up taking bubble
Oh
baths and stuff like that. We can't do that. I didn't know, like we weren't taught, about our pH balance way back in the day. We just
right.
okay, get you some summer's eve and you'll be good. What is
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
knowing what we know today, what would you say is a
Hmm.
good healthy routine to maintain balance for a woman?
First of all, mind your meals. You gotta really
Mhm.
be mindful of what you put in your body because it comes out. And
Mm.
that's it helps you with your smells and stuff like that. And it is so true. Apples make you juicy. Yes, it gives you wetness with your vajayjay. So eat plenty of apples. It
I
increases
never
your
heard that.
vajayjay.
Okay.
Yes, apples make you juicy. And pineapples is very it makes you smell better than what you have. You have a natural smell anyway, but if you eat fruits and vegetables, it comes out a little less, phe off level, right?
Hmm.
And you're also supposed to have that natural smell. I don't want ladies to and men to go out there and start spraying that stuff down there. They got this new cologne stuff you spray on you and stuff like that. No, check with your doctors before you put anything in that area. Just keep it clean and keep it dry, and make sure that you wear clean underwear and stuff like that. But do not put anything inside your vagina. They have the little key balls and stuff like that. Be careful with that. Check with your physicians before you put anything inside of yourself. And
Mhm.
please, men and women, detox your penis and detox your vajayjay. And for
Now
men,
that's
there's
interesting. I was
yeah,
going to say, how would a man go about detoxing his penis?
it's called a Seth bath, and they would sit into a tub of warm water. Don't make it too hot, make it warm, and put a little bit of Epsom salt in there. And they have to sit in there for at least 10 to 15 minutes, and that helps them detox their penis. Okay, and then they stop doping, smoking, and drinking. That stuff comes through that area, through your phallus. You know, if we're having any type of fellatio with you, guess what? We taste this. So be mindful of what you're putting inside your body, and at least twice a month, if not, you can't get around to it once a month, detox your penis.
Now, is there anything that's good stuff? I've never heard of a man detoxing his penis. Is there anything extra that an uncircumcised man should be doing?
He needs to definitely remain. He needs to detox definitely every month, no matter what. And he definitely needs to maintain the foreskin and make sure it's always clean. Make sure you go to the physician, go to the doctor. They have different type of ointments and creams and stuff like that that will help you maintain the cleanliness that you need and to keep that odor down, because that foreskin, it does bring a bad odor. So
Oh,
yeah, check with your doctors, check with your physicians, and let them know you're not ceased. You haven't been ceased. You haven't been circumcised, and they will give you the proper treatment.
okay, okay. Have you ever known a man to get circumcised as an adult?
Yes, it is
Okay.
painful. It is very
Ooh,
painful, but you get
wow.
over it. But it hurts. It hurts, and I've seen men do it more for
For the
spiritual,
woman.
religious purposes.
Oh, okay,
hmm
yeah.
Um, yeah, I've never seen them do it for the woman. They either do it because it's spiritual or for a religious reason.
Okay. Hmm.
hmm Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that you would like to present? I'm wanting to make sure because I had some questions in my mind, but I want to make sure that there's anything that you have to present, any offer or
Yes.
anything.
Sure. So when it comes to just be real, when it comes to love, sex, and relationship, everyone out there, please just communicate. Not even being, yes, be direct, but over communicate. Okay, and it might take some time. And this is why a lot of relationships are ending. People are outgrowing each other. Their sexual appetite changes. You need to focus on having a real conversation with the person that you're in the relationship with. It has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with love, because they're gonna love you no matter what, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time. But those two areas, your relationship, have we outgrown each other, and have our desires gone? That's the sexual piece. What kind of desires do we have now? What kind of sexual appetites do we have now? What has changed that needs to change in order for us to stay the same or grow to the same level?
Hmm. Good stuff. Now, how
Good
can
stuff.
how can people find you, follow you, and support you?
Just go over to Truly Sexy B. Go to I'm everywhere. I'm on all of the social media platforms as Truly, TRULY Sexy B, SAXY, as in boy. And you're gonna learn something new, of course, because I am the educator. And I'm gonna give you all your tools, tips, and resources, the things that you need when it comes to your personal, your financial, and your business. So yeah, you're gonna learn a lot.
Come on now. I
Let's
love
go.
it. I love it. This has been so, so, so good. I am so honored and thankful that you joined me tonight. I have been looking forward to this episode of It's not technically an episode. This is not the podcast. I want to reiterate that. I'm broadcasting to that platform just so I can disseminate it to as many eyes and ears and hearts as possible. But this is the 30 days of I Owe Me. And I felt like we all owe it to ourselves to have good sexual health, understand what we are dealing with, understand what our options are, understand some things that can help us to not feel shame, to not feel like we can't communicate, understanding how to breach the subject. We talked
Mhm.
earlier about the parents talking to their children. So all the things, make sure you go follow Saxy Butler, Truly Sexy B, on all the
That's right.
platforms. Man, she's got a show, she got a book. I put the
That's
book
right.
title in all the chats on all the things that we are broadcasting on. And in closing, my sister, do you have
Yes.
anything else? Hello, you frozen? We might have lost you because it's I hear thunder outside.
It's bad weather.
Yes, 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 yes. But I will
Yeah.
personally,
Bad
officially
weather.
invite you to be one of my featured guests when I do an in-person women's retreat where you can have a room and go do all the teaching and educating that you do and help get these women's minds, hearts, and bodies right. And I'm thinking she's frozen. We have some bad weather here, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining. Thank you all in the chat for being engaged. I hope that you will join me tomorrow night again. I have attorney Renee Miranda. She is known as the accidental flipper. She's going to teach you and tell you what she did when she went through an unexpected divorce and had no money, and she started flipping houses by putting it on her credit cards. She didn't know what she was doing, but she did it, and now she is very successful. So she's known as the accidental flipper. Make sure you join us tonight right here, 7 p.m. All right. I thank you all so much. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Good night.